Okay, so this is card 1 of my Spellbinders December Card Kit. I'm using a piece of plaid paper from the paper pack, and then I created a mason jar using the stamp set and added some twine from the kit. You can see I just taped that on the back. I will pop that up with some foam dots, and I'm just figuring out where I want to put it. And I'll add a sentiment that's from the die set that I'm showing on the screen there. So it says warm winter wishes. So again, I'm just figuring out my placement of everything. I like to lay everything out and then glue it down. So I think I like where that is. And then I'm going to add these 2 snowflakes, which are from the ephemera part of the kit. I'm really trying to just use what's in the kit and bring in very few outside materials. So that looks pretty good. And we're going to use again, the pop dots came in the kit. So we'll use that on the mason jar. So I'm just going to lay that down. And then I'm using my dot runner for the snowflakes, so I can figure out where to put my sentiments. Using my tweezers to pick up those letters because they're a little fiddly, and using liquid adhesive to put everything on my card. And again, the sentiment is going to say warm winter wishes, so I'm just gluing. And you don't need a lot of glue when you're adhering these to your card. And I just had to wipe away a little bit of glue there. Okay, it's good to put a block so those can dry. Then again, my dot runner, and I'm placing my other snowflake. I do end up moving that in the finished card. I like it closer to the jar. And then I'm going to add some of the enamel dots that came in the kit. I'm just going to add those to the center of my snowflakes. And I'm trying to get those positioned in the center so they look nice. There we go. And again, fixing my sentiment a little bit. This whole panel is going to be glued onto a card base that also came in the kit. The kit comes with 10 card bases and 10 envelopes, so it's a really easy way to do a 10 card one kit. I'm bringing in my own foam tape because the paper is a little thinner than regular cardstock, so I just want to give it some added stability. And so I will cut that to fit and then remove the release paper on that. Again, there are a ton of things that come in this kit. There's the ephemera pack, and I showed it all in my video where I did the kit reveal. So we'll just peel up the backing on that foam tape and adhere that to our card. And this card is really almost finished. You could stop here and you'd have a perfectly beautiful card. But I've been getting into Nuvo drops lately, and so I wanted to add some Nuvo drops in Simply White. And I'm just testing to make sure that they're coming out of the bottle okay before I add them to my card. Always a wise thing to do so you don't ruin your project. I'm still pretty new to Nuvo drops, but I do like them. And so I'm just going to add them on top of the existing little snow flurries that are in the jar. And with Nuvo drops, you do want to make sure you apply them and then leave them to dry overnight. Otherwise, you risk ruining them. And they really need to dry like a full 24 hours before you would stick this in the mail. So I'm not being super precise. I'm just putting these wherever I feel looks best. But I really love this card. I'm pretty sure the mason jar is one of the reasons that I bought it. I just thought it was really cute and fun, and I love how you can build a little scene and then you have the little sentiments. So that's my card. Hope you enjoyed. For card number 2, I was inspired by this lantern that came in the ephemera pack of the kit, and this metallic paper and the wood grain paper. So I'm using those together. I have a tag die from my stash that I used, and I'm using the Be Festive sentiment from the stamp set. So I'm just stamping that with my Misty, and I'm using my VersaFine black ink. I'm using my Misty so I get a really good impression. Put that aside to dry. And then we'll move on to our card base. And I've cut a strip of the metallic orange paper. I'm going to use my dot runner, put a line of adhesive, line that up, using my Misty as a guide. And then I'm just trimming off the extra on the back. And I'll put that aside to use for another card. So the lantern, I've decided to put that over on the side and then kind of have the tag at an angle. So I'll also use the twine that came in the kit. This is the light brown and white to tie a bow. I cut out me struggling to tie a bow so you don't have to watch that. And I will adhere the tag, again with my dot runner, put that at an angle, grab my bow, and I will affix that with some glossy accents. Just a little dot and it's going to hold it in place. And just like the card number 1, I'm going to use my stamp block just to help it dry. Alright, so while that's drying, I'm going to put some of the pop dots that came in the kit on the back of the lantern. And I'll adhere that to my card. It's looking pretty good. I think this would make a really nice New Year's card with the lantern and the Be Festive sentiment. And I'm going to attach that to one of the card bases that came in the kit. I'm going to use my foam adhesive tape again, just to add some dimension, make sure my card adheres nice and flat. This is a thinner cardstock, so it's good to have something supportive under it. Foam sheets would also work really well for this as well, but I like the tape. I'm going to remove the backing and then adhere that to my card base. Get that lined up pretty straight. And that is card number 2. Okay, card number 3 is pretty simple. I took some pattern paper from the kit, die cut a white circle out of cardstock, and mounted that all on a piece of foam. I'm using the ephemera in the package, the wood slice and the deer, and adhering that onto the white circle. And I'm also using the 2 sentiments that are included in that kit as well. Best wishes, I'm adhering those at an angle. And then I'm going to take one of the card bases from the kit, figure out how to line that up, add my adhesive, my liquid glue, and adhere that to my card panel, card base. So that is card number 3. Card 4 was inspired by Pinterest. I'm using some scraps from the other cards that I made, the plaid background and the wood grain, and also the rose gold washi tape. I'm just laying out my pattern and then gluing it down with my tape runner. And once that is finished, I'm going to be using the ephemera, the Let's Celebrate, and the pine cone. And I'm just folding back the washi tape, and then I will cut the other strips off once I get all of that finished. This is a great way to use up every part of the kit and let none of those scraps go to waste. So I really like this plaid with the wood grain. I feel like all these cards kind of have a cohesive theme, which is nice. And then I'm adding the Let's Celebrate with my tape runner. Got a little bit of adhesive on my Tim Holtz mat. And then with the pine cone, I'm going to use the last of my pop dots. And then I will put that on my card. Very clean, simple, just a little bit of dimension on this card. And then I'll grab my card base, or my card base that came with the kit, put some adhesive on, line that up, make sure I have it centered. And that is card number 4. For card 5, we're halfway through the 10 cards 1 kit. I've used washi tape on some snowflake pattern paper, cut a white circle, put a die cut, and then I'm stamping a sentiment, Happy Holidays, using my Misty, make sure I get a good impression. So I'm just inking that up. Then I'm going to add 2 of the little snowflake stamps from the stamp set that came in the kit, just for a little added interest. So I'm putting 1 on each side of the sentiment, cleaning that in between, make sure I don't get any stray ink. And then after I've done that, I'm going to glue down another piece of ephemera. These are some lights. I'm going to take my circle, put more adhesive on that, glue it over the washi tape and the pattern paper. And then I've got one of the card bases from the kit. So I'm just going to add my adhesive and then put it on my card base. Make sure that's nice and lined up. And that is card number 5.